We'll now have a report out from our closed session.
It was moved by Fernandez, seconded by Nelson, to approve a classified request for a leave of absence. It was approved 7-0 via roll call vote. There was an additional motion and second from Fernandez and Nelson on another classified leave of absence request, approved roll call vote 7-0. And a third classified leave of absence request. It was moved by Nelson, seconded by Barrett to deny the request. Roll call vote taken 7-0.
Item C4, may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
We have one modification.
Okay.
We are requesting that the board consider allowing item F1, which is the report on parent survey results, to be moved after item D2.
Do I have a vote to accept the agenda as amended?
Did you say D2?
D2.
Yeah, I so move.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. There is no public comment for items not on the agenda, so we'll move to C6, the Employee Organization Brief Reports. First will be the California School Employees Association, but I see that our representative is not here this evening.
She's on vacation right now. So.
She's on vacation. So we will have a report from the Ukiah Teachers Association. Terry?
Can you hear me? Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair and the board. Teachers are very excited to come back into the classroom and feel very fortunate to be teaching children in our community. Our executive board met today. We had a retreat and talked about things that will be coming up this year, and we are very excited to be working collaboratively with administration. We're looking forward to leadership meetings. We've already done some interest-based problem solving today, and that went very well. And thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. Next item is C7, our leadership team report.
Who was up on that? Mr. McCann is not here. So how about I give it?
Brilliant.
Yes. So our leaders have been busy preparing for the return of staff to the schools. We held a 3-day meeting with a focus on continuing our curriculum and instruction work, implementation of our new standards, new assessment system, and so that was the focus of our 2 days together. Our 3rd day, we had some professional development around confidentiality and communication. And yesterday, we had a great workshop with our teacher leaders and our site administrators with a focus on looking at student data and professional learning communities, implementation at school sites, and using that data to drive instruction and instructional practices around collaboration. So they've been very busy creating student schedules, getting their master schedules finished, making sure the campuses are tidy, and that's about it.
Our next item is the acceptance of donations. Okay, mine is flipping out again. Oh, here we go. The donations thus far for the August 11th meeting, there was a $1,000 anonymous donation for the Ukiah Unified School District Band Program. There was a donation from Target of $26 for Nokomis Elementary, a $4,000 contribution district-wide to purchase books for 2nd graders from the Ridgewood Masonic Lodge, and there was a donation by Gabe Sherman of a to purchase a 18-volt cordless DeWalt tool set for Ukiah High custodial staff. Apparently, he didn't think we were up to par on our tools. Can we have a motion to accept the donations?
I move to accept.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. The next item on the agenda is, under operational systems, the discussion of action taken about the Ukiah High School cockroach infestation.
So Penny Lossing, our CBO, is here, and Director of Maintenance Operations and Transportation, Gabe Sherman. I want to thank you both for your work on this issue, and they're here to update the board on what we've been doing and allow for any questions.
Thank you. A lot of staff have been working very hard on this situation, and Gabe especially, and has prepared a report for you.
Thank you. One minor clarification on the donations. That was a older set I had. I'm not giving them my good one. I'm going to do something a little bit unorthodox. I'm going to ask you to take the back page and maybe pull it out, because it's a great reference as I go through this to kind of talk about. And this is an IPM triangle. This is kind of a standardized format for how we deal with pest management, and it was done by alumni of Penn State, and it's a great resource for us. So brief background of of our current issues at the high school, and I think I'll just kind of blaze through this. If you have any questions, feel free, of course, to jump in. Mid-2014 is by records when we first have a major recording of the infestation at Ukiah High Stadium. The pesticide applications were targeted there to begin with. First records we have are the stadium, the food services area, and then it moved out from there to the gym. By early 2015, it was campus-wide, and we had pesticides applications out there on a weekly basis. Mendocino County Environmental Health was out, as they do for biannual inspections, and on our recent inspection, one thing they mentioned to us is that they recommended floor drain screens on all of the interior buildings in the food services, and that was done, and it did make a difference there. They also noted that the infestation at large that they noted was significantly increased from 2015. In spring of 2016, the cockroaches kind of surged up. They do go on a cycle. In the winter, they're a lot less active. In summer, they become more active, particularly when they're looking for water, and so they move around and come out quite a bit. We really got some reports in early spring from teachers and staff noting them in the buildings, and that's when we kind of started to reassess what we were doing and started working on a new strategy for this. I'm going to jump into the Turkestan cockroach, which is what we have out there, and to clarify, that's the only cockroach that has been identified out there, and that's by pesticide experts. The ag, I know there's some confusion that they might have identified something else, but as of this afternoon, they still are holding that that's the only thing they found there. So, which is good and bad, because the Turkestan cockroach is a little bit of a super bug. It breeds explosively, and that's why we see it in such numerous quantities at the high school. The Turkestan cockroach was first recorded in California in 1978. In fact, it was the first instance of it recorded in the United States at large. Its explosive growth is because it actually, from a nymph to an adult, it comes to adulthood in 7 months, which is about twice the speed of its nearest relative, which is the oriental cockroach. And it's widely mistaken for. It also, a female can have 400 nymphs, and if you think about that, you can kind of get a picture of how fast that they can actually breed. So, rounding down half a year, 400. So it can multiply by 400 in half a year, which is pretty amazing. They are, and for that reason, they are commonly used these days by insect breeders that breed for reptiles. They're sold online, and they are all over the Southwest, Arizona, and Southern California. They are the preeminent cockroach there now. The good news is that they're not an interior cockroach. They don't inhabit the buildings per se. They tend to like damp in-ground boxes, cracks in concrete. They will burrow underground. The males have been known to fly short distances. They're one of the few cockroaches that actually fly a little bit. But they will come into the buildings if they need resources, and that's the food and the water, and that's, I think, where we really need to focus some of our efforts. So in late spring, we began to reassess the formulated integrated pest management best practices, and this is kind of what we came up with. And this was in consultation with many agencies, many experts. The first and I think the biggest one, if we look at the IPM pyramid here, the bottom layer is design maintenance, and that's building maintenance and sanitation, and that's where we that's where we can focus some efforts, because we've done the very top. That's where we kind of went to in the beginning. That's the conventional, that's the sprays, and one step down is the dusts, the gels, and the baits. And we have done all that, and we continue to do that. But a pyramid won't stand without the base, and that's where we need to get to. So no food no food and only water in the classrooms during instructional periods. We're going to be asking during lunch periods, we're going to be asking that teachers sign up to have a safe harbor or an open classroom for food so that we can limit and control. We will be providing cleaning kits to them and food waste cans, which will then the custodial crew will then take out at the end of the lunch period and dispose of in the trash cans. We're bringing on a couple new custodians to help out with that as well. So there'll be at least one custodian added to the day shift, which will immensely help out with that. We have also, in order to get ready for the start of school and to address some of our cleanliness issues, we've basically blanket. We've asked custodial maintenance ground staff to come in. It's not required of them, but we've offered that, and we've had a huge commitment. And people aren't doing this because they want to make an extra buck. It's really because they care about it. They're sacrificing a weekend to do it, and I don't take that lightly. So, because they've been working hard all summer. This is our busy time of year to get ready for school. I mean, they've been working very hard. I want to make that known to the board right now. So, what maintenance has been doing? They've been replacing door sweeps. They've been doing this throughout the summer. This is the exclusion part, and under the bottom of the pyramid, that would be buildings and maintenance. We're keeping the roaches out of the buildings. We also have expanded the floor drains to the entire campus. As of today, I just got word from our head of maintenance that we have them in every single floor drain on the campus. The one caveat, it's a big campus. There might be one or two, and if anyone sees them, let us know. So we will be continuing those assessments as well. We have also ordered 50 new exterior trash cans. I'd like to talk a minute about those. They are designed to exclude vermin. They're not metal cans. They're not the expanded mesh that you see in some of our other sites. They are a solid plastic, so there's no way for bugs to get in from the bottom. They have a half-rounded lid with 2 openings that helps the birds stay out of them and keeps the rain out so they're not wet. We have purchased 50 of them. They will be campus-wide. There's also pedestals that are mounted that pull them off the ground, so there's no safe harborage under that. It's a very interesting system. It took us a while to find them, and they're being custom-made for us. So they're manufacturing them. The ship date is the 23rd. Not as soon as I would like, but they did work with me. They were able to drop that by 2 weeks. So I'm excited to see those in, and our custodial staff is already marking out the locations. We're going to be moving those away from the classrooms and away from the doors. The guidelines that we've been given by DBR is about 20 to 25 feet from every classroom door. So they're going to be outside of the usual comfort zone for people, and we're going to have to work on getting our waste to those cans. It won't be quite as easy. It won't be right outside the door. But the flip side is that the roaches will be there if there's any food drop-ins instead of by the classrooms. We also will continue our professional extermination services, and that's the very top of that triangle. That's what we don't do in-house, and that's having someone out applying. When they apply, they also do assessments of the areas. So we do have them on a rotating basis every other week at the high school. They rotate 9 different chemicals. Every single one is a different agent, and that's to help to keep down the resistance. The roaches breed so fast that it's easy to build in tolerances, and that's something we really don't want to do, because other districts and other entities have had that, and it compounds the nightmare. It makes it so that that's one less tool we have, and we need every tool we have in our arsenal right now. And I'd also point out that we have been doing that since 2014. There has not been a break in the weekly or biweekly. That's every other week treatment. We did go to a week for a while, for almost 4 months, and after a certain period, we became uncomfortable with the amount that we had them out there due to the resistances. UUSD integrated pest management personnel, and that's primarily our grounds department, who are trained in that, are applying baits, gels, and powders in in-ground boxes and other locations. So I'll talk to that about that in a moment too. Because we're a school district, we can't go in and blanket. We can't go into the kitchen and smear gels all over the place. We can't spray whole heart on the kitchen. We have to target where we're using our agents. For instance, the dusts, the DE, and the boric acid is something that we have to be careful with. It is not harmful. However, any dust is harmful. So we have there are issues that get in ventilation systems. We keep them out of the buildings. We keep them in wall spaces, so you can, where you have a hole in a wall, you can squirt a little bit in. In the in-ground boxes that are dry, you put it around the lid. That's their entrance and exit points. And ditto with the gels and the bait traps. If it's self-contained, we don't actually have to, by the Healthy Schools Act, we don't have to post it, which is a great resource to us, because every time we want to try something new, it could potentially cause us a whole, basically a 72-hour wait period, a reposting, which lowers our reaction time. We are and we will continue to work with a host of organizations that are listed there. I won't go through all of them, but they continue to be a great asset to us. Particularly our local county government, the ag department, has been a great help to us and great resource. So next in the list is the cliff swallow nests. That has been an ongoing historical issue. They've been knocked down numerous times and they come back. We're not allowed to touch them for their breeding season. The breeding season's up September 1. So we will go back, we will knock them down, we'll do a sanitation. We are going to try this year something we haven't tried in the past, which is netting off the areas that they inhabit. So that's a large portion of the overhang of the campus. The process is basically get a fine mesh net, spread it taut so that you don't have any birds caught in it. Attach it to the building, and I have high hopes that will solve some of those issues. In the meantime, the custodial staff continues to clean the area, and if anyone has any interest in that, that is the Migratory Bird Treaty Act of 1918. So it's been out there for a while, and all swallows, these are cliff swallows, but all swallows are protected under that. Next week, we're excited to have representatives for the California DPR, that's Department of Pesticide Relationship, and the UC Cooperative Extension out. They're going to have been excited, unfortunately, by our misfortune. It's a fortune for them. They're going to study us thoroughly and give us hopefully some very good recommendations and tips on further ways that we can address this issue. And we are all very interested by this, because the more we know, the better. Going back into the IPM, another tactic that we're deploying are low-line sticky traps. These are completely non-toxic. They're large sticky traps. LA Unified had a major infestation in 2001, 2003, and this was pretty much all they used, and they were able to knock down the problem. So the idea behind this is twofold. One, we find the paths of travel after we've done as much exclusion as possible. So that's door sweeps, that's the drains, and that's the pipes or the conduits. So we find any other areas that there might be a likely area for them to get in. So custodial closets, bathrooms, our IT closets. And we place these sticky traps out. It catches any insects that do make it in, and it allows us to monitor. So one of the biggest issues that we have with IPM is that if we don't get a hold of a population surge in the beginning, it snowballs. And as we see by the 400 nymphs per an adult, it can be a exponential increase. And so if we get them early, it makes it much more easier. And so that's what we're looking to do at all of our sites. To date, we've ordered 1,000. We have hundreds of them out at this point, including at the high school. We've done them extensively. The idea behind it is that custodial staff, primarily the heads of plants, will be monitoring these. Each trap has a graph on the bottom that allows you to detail where you placed it, the date you placed it. And then as you monitor it right now, they're on a every other day. You can mark when you've inspected it, how many insects you've found. Once the trap gets a certain threshold, you take it. It will be turned into our IPM manager, and if there's any new finds, we can bring those directly down to ag, and they can help us with identification. We've already found a few other roaches by this at Nokomis Elementary. They're not the Turkestan roach, they're German roaches. And we do have an exterminator coming out tomorrow to address that before the kids get in. We're also aggressively doing our baiting and our trapping there at this point. So, I mean, this program's already started to pay off. We have not found any by this method at Frank Zeke. We have found them in ground boxes, primarily along the cemetery line. We had an exterminator out there last weekend, and they will be out there again this weekend for another pass, as well as a on-site assessment. So with Frank Zeke, because we have not found any in the classrooms, and they are sporadically spread throughout the campus, I do not believe that we're at a critical level there. I think we can probably knock it down pretty fast. I'd also point out that Frank Zeke is a good case for our efforts at the high school with sanitation, because the elementary schools traditionally are not nearly as rich environments for the cockroaches to thrive in. And so what I mean by that is there's not a lot of food litter or food waste around. The high school has many visitors all day long, sports events, and just people coming in and out of the campus, and that does create quite a hard environment for us to maintain. And finally, on August 20th, the community has, at the impetus of the community, they've came to us and extended their hand and asked if we would have them out on the 20th to do a cleanup day. And I enthusiastically said yes. I hope that there won't be a lot for them to clean up, to be honest, but I think the biggest thing that the community can do for us, other than help us to develop and sustain a culture of good sanitation, is to have their eyes on the situation. All of us try very hard to keep the campus clean and have a good environment for the children, because that's why we're here. But when you're in an environment day to day, day in and day out, you start to get tunnel vision. Sometimes we don't see things that someone coming in from the outside can see very clearly. And that communication is what I hope to foster. I've represented that, at any point, please give us a call, let us know, by any means, let us know what you see so we can work together to address this. I think I've got to the end of it.
Thank you. And Penny, did you have anything to add, or?
I think Gabe covered it pretty well.
I do. Ann, Trustee Mulgar.
What's the connection between swallows and cockroaches?
The only real connection is with extensive bird droppings. There has been, we do have evidence that the cockroaches can use that to feed off of.
Okay.
And so keeping up a high sanitation on that is definitely important. It was During the summer, the custodians were focused on the room cleanings when the children weren't there, and there was a lapse in cleaning up the excrement, and I think that was obviously a mistake, and so we're addressing that.
Okay, all right. We talked about, or we emailed a little bit about low-water plants that are natural, I don't know what they are, natural
Deterrents.
insecticides, deterrents.
And that was a suggestion that I kind of looked into. There's 3 main species that there's good scientific evidence that can be deterrents. And so that's catnip, which you suggested, chrysanthemum,
Chrysanthemum.
and Asagi orange. I have asked that question of the cooperative extension. My main concern is I don't want us to get tunnel vision on just the insects, because we are also still in a drought. We need to think about
Yeah.
low water plantings. In fact, we're actually required to do that.
Sure.
Also, we don't want to plant anything that's not, that can't thrive in our environment. So catnip, for instance, would not overwinter. Chrysanthemum and Osage orange are the 2 that seem like they might be the most likely, although I want to make sure that there's no problems with them being invasive or any other issues that we don't think of. The other concern I have as well, I think that would be, I think would work be a lot more effective in our elementary schools. When you look at the high school, what you see is a huge space of what we call impermeable surface, and that's concrete and roofs. So there's a few planter beds, and we can certainly plant them there, but I don't believe it will be an effective deterrent. Chrysanthemums are beautiful, but it won't keep them out of the buildings. It might keep them out of that certain area. And I think we needed to look at that, because our resources are finite, and I want to target them in our most effective venues for this. So.
Right, but my understanding was that there were a lot of roaches in the landscaping.
We have lawns, and we actually have a drops grant that I hope will help us address that. There are plans to pull out some of our ornamental lawns and put in low water landscape, and I think that's a nice, that will dovetail nicely with this. We do have other spaces that are barren right now, and I think are causing us some issues. They're, among other things, they're an eyesore.
I agree.
And there's actually some of the students approached me at the end of this last school year, and with the help of Gordon, have started to develop a plan to put in a garden there. And I think we can probably work some of that into that. That's kind of basically in the middle of the campus. So it's an interesting idea.
Well, there's already a garden up at the top.
This is right, and this would be an ornamental, basically. It's a blighted space, it's just dirt, and this would be something that would be, I think, interesting and beautiful. So if we do it right, I think it might be effective. But again, we need to go through the experts on this before we
Right, so
before we do anything.
you're not talking about a garden of watermelons and tomatoes and things like that. You're talking about something that they've proven is a good thing to.
Sure, exactly,
Okay,
yes.
Good, great.
In place of a dirt patch, I guess,
Right.
would be the blunt way
Right, no,
to put it.
those dirt patches don't do anything for me either. And my last question was small barn owls. Have you heard that? That's what some people have told me, and that's.
I know they're good for gophers. We've definitely looked into them for our gopher problems on the Swartz fields.
And so there was just a recommendation that we do some barn owls. Even Cancer Resource Center said that to us, because they are, of course,
Okay.
interested in lowering the number of pesticides everywhere. So they
Right.
suggested that.
Well, and I think that's a great question for the entomologist that comes out here.
Great, yeah.
And I haven't come across that one. That's great, because that's the biological portion of it, and I mean, that's a great suggestion. And like I said, that would also help us with the gophers, which is what we've looked at them for, because that's a plague for us as
So
well.
questions about like barn owls and the different kind of plants, which may or may not work in Northern California, we can ask the experts who are coming on Tuesday?
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I know it's a hard problem to.
Trustee Van Sant?
I'm wondering about the travel path of cockroaches. So if we're treating the high school, is there anything preventing the cockroaches, because it sounds like they like cement and cracked cement, from going into the cemetery and hanging out there for a while we treat the school and then coming back? Because
Well, not being an expert, I'll put one caveat, but I have done a whole lot of reading, and I've talked to a whole lot of experts, and the simple truth is yes.
So if we're treating the school and whoever is in charge of the cemetery, I don't know who that is not working with the cemetery, are we prolonging the problem?
I'm going to be very I'm going to be very truthful right now, I'm very honest to all of us, and I think we need to accept this. I don't think, from everyone I've talked to, biologists, entomologists, to pest control managers and pest control experts, I don't think this problem ever goes away. Once these roaches are here, they're here. LA Unified, the whole Southern California, they're there. The trick is to managing their populations, keeping them out of the buildings, and getting to a point where you don't see them.
So so you're saying it's possible there will never be, free of every single roach at the high school?
I cannot promise that, no.
But when will we know we've reached the best we can be? And will the bug entomologists be able to tell us that?
I hope so. I mean, I think they will. We're not alone. In some ways, we've been a little bit sheltered up here. This is a fairly common problem that's been documented in, like I said, LA Unified, some of the biggest school districts in the country, let alone California. And they have experience with it. So I'm hoping they can help us quite a bit more when they actually get boots on the ground and really can look into the problem instead of just talking to them, being able to be on site.
Because I think that would be really useful, Deb, if we know what is our evidence of success when we have done the very best we possibly can do, and we're clearly not holding back on resources here. We're giving you whatever tools you need to be able to do this. How will we know when we're the best we can be? Because it sounds like no cockroaches at all might not be the best we can be.
I will ask them that when they come.
And I would certainly like to say that, yes, we can get to that point. I mean, that's in my wildest hopes, that's where we get to. But you're right, I think benchmarks are the way we go. But everything I see right now does not lead me to believe that that's where we're going to be in a year, to throw out a date. So.
You don't believe we'll be 100% cockroach-free
Correct.
in a year?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. I'll have another comment, but I think it will be after public comment, yeah.
Trustee Arkin?
As Megan was asking about the cemetery, so are we working with the city about the cemetery and what effect they might have on us?
The cemetery is a separate district. I asked the city manager about that yesterday. They don't have jurisdiction over the cemetery, is my understanding.
Oh, I
So
see.
we
So-
need to
Get them?
figure
Find
out
who it is?
who to communicate with. They're governed by a board, evidently. We have been in communication with the city, and we have been in communication with the county as well.
So are we working on trying to get, communicate with their board?
We will figure out who we need to speak with.
Okay. Well,
Just don't know who that is yet. Some of you might know. I
Because
don't
if
know.
that is the truth, that if they would scurry back until they see that we're done doing our thing, and then scurry on again, I mean, that's gonna defeat us a lot. And so if we can work together, it makes more sense. Yeah, okay, thanks.
I had a question. In reading the Daily Journal, I've noticed that over the summer it has been swamped with sporting events, many conducted by the city. There's a football jamboree coming up. There are dolphins swimming there. Who is responsible for communicating to all those groups that they need to be responsible and monitoring that they're not leaving food all over when they leave? Because I walk up there on the weekends and you can see it all over.
Well, on site, I actually, Deb, you want to take this one? Because I don't have the direct contact with them. I do talk to the programs for for laying out the fields, but we don't have the facilities used.
So when an organization completes a facility use agreement, there are some provisions in there. The city and the school district have an MOU, a memorandum of understanding joint use. If additional custodial time is needed, the organization pays for the custodial time. I don't have in the top of my head what our agreement is, for example, with the Lions.
Well, so I can answer, for instance, for the Lions, they will be here, you're right, this Saturday. It's an all-day event. They're there through the evening. We have people coming in beforehand to set up for them, and then we'll have people in Sunday, grounds crew, that will trash and blow down the area and sanitize, and then come back Monday and do a deep sanitation. I'd also, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I'd like to, I think the issue is maybe not communicating with a single organization, but again, having a group consensus or a communal consensus there, because it's not just one organization. I don't want to target out any, I mean, the facilities are there for the community's use, and we want to keep it that way. I think it's the community that needs to work on, I mean, all of us together getting our trash into the trash cans, and then from there into the dumpsters.
And Gail, I'll just say that we will make sure and communicate with them. I know, for example, the Lions Club came in and did some stadium work. So they do, the community organizations also at times help us with our facilities. So, but we will make sure that we specifically communicate with each community organization. We probably already are, but I can't 100% verify that.
Well, and it might be time to raise our deposit fee. That if you have to put a deposit and then we return it when the campus is clean, or we have to deduct for the overtime we need to pay the custodian.
All right, any further comments? If not, we'll open public comment. All right. The first speaker I have is Misty Washburn. Excuse me if I'm not pronouncing, I couldn't read it. Oh, excuse me, our timer will be Nicole, and when we reach 3 minutes, then we will ask you to stop, actually.
So my first question is going to be the people that you are having come up from the ag departments and the down south. Are they going up at night when they can see the problem? Or are we just going to let them wander around during the day when it's bare minimal? Because like seriously and truly.
Oh,
it
excuse me.
needs-
What you can do is make comment, and the board will respond to your comments, or Mr. Sherman will respond after you have finished.
Okay.
Rather than engage in a dialogue that's going to take away from your time.
Okay.
So if we could have one person speaking at one time.
Okay, so basically, I'm telling you right now, majority of us, I believe, are here for this issue. We're not thrilled. You guys, the school district has had long enough time period to take care of this problem. And I'm going to tell you right now, from running several businesses in Ukiah, it can be eliminated. It has got to be an aggressive plan. It has got to be fully in place. Your janitorial staff has got to be up to par. If they're not up to par, you fire them. That's what happens. I'm sorry. You cannot keep blaming this on all of the kids, all of the community members. Yes, I'm saying right now, probably part of the problem is that people don't throw their trash away. But that's not something to blame it on, because we pay people to do that. We work every day. I work 40+ hours a week to pay for people to pick that up. They should be picking it up on a regular basis. I'm not even going to go into the bird poop because I think that's kind of irrelevant at this point in time. I'm more concerned about the cockroaches that are running around at the high school. I have put in a request for you guys to transfer my son and my daughter to Potter Valley. My kids will not attend any Ukiah Unified School until you guys deal with this problem. It's gotten way out of control, and I honestly feel that it has not been dealt with properly. If you have an aggressive plan, things can be taken care of. But I don't think you guys have an aggressive plan until you do, until we quit squawking, then there's no plan. That's honestly how it seems to be, is that it just slides under the thing. And as far as the catnip goes, what's the point? Because you said during the winter months that they're not really doing anything, so if it dies off, that's good. But then it comes back during the summer when you seem to be having more of a problem. And my personal recommendation would be surround your schools with all of those flowers. Every last bit of your school should have a border of those flowers, whatever it takes. Chrysanthemums, you know what? I'm down to vote for you guys to be able to spend the water on those flowers, if that's what need be. But I'm telling you right now, until you guys set up a perimeter and deal with what is inside that perimeter, you guys are just making it worse. Yeah, we can, let us know who owns a cemetery. We'll help you. Obviously, we're all here. That's what we're here to do, is to find a legit solution. We're not here to put blame game or anything like that, but I am telling you right now, it's got to be taken care of. I'm born and raised in this town. I am highly, highly, highly discouraged by all of you that I am asking for a transfer of my children. I don't think it's acceptable, and I don't think it's right. Yeah, I'm willing to spend the gas money because they need to be safe. I'm not willing to jeopardize their health. And in no circumstance can you guys say right now at all that that is a healthy place for any child to attend school. I'm sorry, it's just not. You guys need to open up one of the other schools, split the freshmen and the sophomores and the juniors and the seniors, split them up, put them in 2 separate schools until you guys get the problem taken care of. That's my recommendation. Thanks.
Thank you for your comment. The next speaker is Kim Brown.
sure you guys all have kids or grandkids, right? And you can imagine them going to school with any critter, like a cockroach, being present, squirming around, okay? Now, Frank Zeke, I've been there since August 1st, going every other night. Tons of videos, pictures, okay? It's not on the cemetery line, that's crap, okay? You guys are lying. I don't even know if, have you guys, any of you guys went there at night and walked any of these campuses to see? I doubt it, okay? But it's not on the property line of the cemetery. They're all throughout the campus, by the outside of the cafeteria, okay? The campuses are not cleaned, okay? There's all kinds of crap everywhere, pictures to show. And you guys, how can you say that it's a healthy environment? How? And now they're at Nokomis. Nokomis is not even near the cemetery or the high school, right? And you guys wait, and this is the thing. You guys knew about the high school infestation. Why did you not treat in 2014 all these other schools? Why? Why not? Why? Now look what happened. They're everywhere. I don't want to send my daughter to Frank Zeke in that. It's not okay. We don't work in that kind of condition, do we? No, we don't. We don't. And food. How can we still prepare food at the high school and take to these schools? How? How is that sanitary? It's not. It's not. I don't know. You know, I don't, I'm frustrated. It's sad. I want to cry because it's not okay. And I'm up there every other night. And you know what? Your little press releases is bullshit. Sorry, my language, but it is.
Please, watch that.
It is, okay? There are tons of parents that are out there seeing that, you know what? Hey, what you're coming out with the night before your big press release is a bunch of crap. And it's sad because you guys here are what? You guys care about our kids, right? I don't think so.
Thank you. I would remind everybody that there really can't be a dialogue if people are rude and using language that's unfit for children in the room to hear. I know everyone feels strongly. Everyone up here is as frustrated as you are, but I really would appreciate if we could treat each other with respect. The next speaker is Kim D-U-W-E? I can't read the writing. Dewey, thank you. Sorry.
My name is Kim Dewey, and I've had kids in this district for 25 years. I've been volunteering here for the same amount of years. I have 4 children, 3 of whom have gone completely through the district, and I have a 15-year-old at the high school. It's difficult because I look at the people that I love who are here, but I really feel that there has been, someone's lacking somewhere. And I don't like to point fingers because I work directly with a lot of people volunteering. As a matter of fact, I'm there tomorrow at the high school because our kids need the volunteers. Sorry, I always get teary-eyed when I talk about the school stuff. Why is that? Okay.
Because you care.
Anyway, yeah, I care, and that's why I'm here. And yes, I'm angry about the situation. I do believe in my heart that you people wouldn't be here if you didn't care about our kids. This is a really, really tough job because there's always finger pointing. And we all like to think we have the answers. I do feel that the situation got out of control because maybe it wasn't dealt with in a timely manner. And I know we're jumping on it now. There's so much attention on it now, and everybody's doing what they can, and these ladies and gentlemen out here who want to keep their kids safe, and they're so passionate about it, and I totally understand that because I'm coming from the same place. I feel like there needs to be more done. I've talked to the EPA, I've talked to the Center for Disease Control, I've talked to the people from the California Department of Pesticide Regulation. Everybody, I've talked with everybody. It's like, is there someone who can come and help us? Is there someone that they get for big jobs like this? Is there someone who can come and help us deal with this situation? I know we like to do, local, shop local, our local exterminators, whatever, and I know we're getting help from places as far as someone coming in and talking about it. Is there someone who can come in and say, this is what we do, this is how we do it? Someone who's dealt with inner city, someone who's dealt with tenements, anybody, there's gotta be somebody. Talking with the EPA, I think that there is a group that can come in. It's a huge thing to have that done. There has to be, someone has to actually mandate that happen. The pesticides, you can only use so many pesticides, I understand that. The problem is it's not healthy for our children to have the pesticides, but I have a moderate to severe asthmatic child he wants to go to the high school. That's where he wants to be. His friends are there. He wants to go there. I will probably send him there. But whose responsibility is it if he's there and he's sick because of this? See, there's some parents who don't have choices. I happen to have a choice. My kid wants to go there. He wants to go there. I particularly don't want him to go. But I know he loves the school, and he loves his friends, and he loves the teachers, and he wants to go. So I'm trying to figure out, am I going to send him? Are we doing everything we can? I'm trying to research. I'm doing everything I can. I'm calling everybody I can think of.
Thank you,
So is
Kim.
there someone who can help us that we can call in? That's the only thing I can ask, because I think everything else has been addressed.
Thank you very much. The next speaker is Heidi Valle.
Hi, I'm Heidi Valley. Me and my friend went to Frank Zeke last night, and there are a lot. It's really bad. It's coming out of a ground valve, and I'm just thinking maybe this is how the high school started, and this is how they looked at it, like, oh, well, it's just outside, so it's not a big deal. And now it's fully infested. It's like scary horror film infested. And it's mostly by the pool, the swimming pool, and the field is just thousands, and I'm not exaggerating.
Wait, did you move now to the high school from Frank Zeke?
Oh, we're just
You said this one.
looking from each. Yeah, yes. Sorry, I'm nervous.
No, it's okay, I was just trying to.
Yeah. So Frank Zeke does have them, and they're pretty bad. And I just don't want Frank Zeke to look like the high school. We've been looking at each school, my friend and I, and something that she had said that got me really upset is young parent is over there. So there's babies crawling on these floors, putting things in their mouths, and it's like unsanitary. It's just, and then you've got all the Head Start programs that are right by there. We're gonna check those out tonight to see if there's any cockroaches over there, because it's right there. I agree with, doing the plants to surround it. I also heard like bay leaf plants, repel them, lavender. And then also natural remedies to get rid of cockroaches, sugar and baking soda of mixed equal parts. It's non-toxic. I don't know if we could like put some of that inside the cafeteria, because the cafeteria can't be sprayed with like, bad chemicals or whatever. I wanted to share a story. My daughter was bullied in middle school, and I had to where she was suicidal. I had to get her out of the school, put her therapy, all that stuff. Had her in independent study. She built her strength up to go to Ukiah High for 9th grade, and she did amazing. I was so proud of her. And then she thought of, focusing on education. She wanted to just really cram, so she did independent study again. She has she had a plan that she wanted to go to Ukiah High for senior year, and now she's wanting to refuse to go to school at all because of the cockroaches. And it's heartbreaking. And I'm hoping that this is dealt with.
All right, thank you, Heidi.
You're welcome.
Cambria Milani. What is, excuse me, what is your sister's name? Okay.
So, my name's Alicia Marin, and my daughter's going to be a freshman this year, and I'm also a resident that lives next to the high school. I'm on Caps Lane, about 5 houses down from the field. They are in the neighborhood. I'm having my house sprayed to keep them out of my house and out of my garage. I have called the city. I've spoken publicly at their open agenda for the city council. I've spoken at the board of supervisors. I have also spoken at MCOE to address the situation. I'm reaching out to everybody to help with this situation. And I've even spoken to the maintenance man that's who they directed me to, about the cockroaches at the graveyard, which I would think you guys would have addressed it by now, because they are there, and they're very much there. I've walked it. I've walked the school, I've walked the cemetery, I've walked my neighborhood, and the problem at the high school has now become everybody else's, and it's everybody's responsibility to take care of it. And if the high school doesn't stop the breeding of them, there is no way I can ever stop my neighborhood from looking like that. You don't understand the amount that are there. And the inside of the school can be treated over and over again, and they will continue to come inside if they are breeding outside. The outside infestation is amazing. It is disgusting. It is unbelievable. I have never thought that the high school I went to would ever look like that, and my child would be wanting to go there because she wants to play sports. This is unacceptable. This is something that has been put aside for too long. It hasn't been addressed properly by the high school to us at all, or even the school district to us at all, until we made a stink about it just recently. I have been up there where I've seen garbage cans that are not emptied for up to a week, and I have it on video, and the garbage is very distinct in what it is to know that it was not emptied. This is unacceptable. The bird feces, it is a problem. The birds are a problem because they eat it. I know this. I've only been going up there since July 16th, and I know this information. I've done my research. I know what the Turkestan cockroach is. You're just being told about it. This is unacceptable. I live in a neighborhood that now houses them because the high school hasn't addressed the situation properly. And the infestation can be treated inside all you would like, but it will never go away if you don't take care of the problems outside. And I would be happy to walk with you and show you where they're at. We'll meet there at 11:30, and I can show you exactly where a lot of these, a ton of these, thousands of them come out of every night. There are plenty target places. I encourage you to go with me. You should see it. Everybody should see it. I encourage everybody because it is motivating. It motivates you to clean it up. And the trash that gets dropped on the ground, you know what? That's nothing compared to seeing the trash that wasn't picked up that day. For days in a row, the trash that's in the garbage from when the kids were there at the freshman orientation or the freshman academy, that's still in the garbage at night after the lights go out. It's upsetting to see the locker bays that are storage units now that haven't had things moved out of them in who knows how long. What's behind all this? And the school looks terrible. I know, I've gone to the agriculture department. They told me shale. Use shale outside, and it helps with the cockroaches also. It's a good border to stop things from going inside. You guys have planter boxes? It is ridiculous to put plants that you're going to have to water. And watering the fields at night, every night, is giving them water.
Right.
And I know to water during the day, and it's supposed to be dry by night, and that's a good way.
Aisha, thank you so much. Cambria, are you speaking now?
Before I begin, we would like to, if your technician can actually just show the pictures. We weren't asked about that, but we'd like everybody to see what is up there. It can be played in silent.
The what?
I think the board's all seen them, haven't we?
On, on the website, yeah. It's the same as the one there, yeah. We,
Show of hands? The entire board seen all the videos on the page?
if we have all seen them, I'm just wondering why that would be helpful.
It is about the kids.
I know, but if we have already,
Gail, we don't do the back and forth. I mean, you guys, let Gail run the meeting, please.
well, may I take a vote of the board then, as to whether we want to see this or not? Or
Yes,
you
we
want
don't
me to just make a
typically have
decision?
community members come in and give a
Yeah.
presentation. that's
No, but
not
this is something that's super important.
Let me finish, please. It really is up to the board, but we don't typically do that.
I don't need to see them. I've seen them live and I've seen them on Facebook, so I'm fine.
I've seen
Is there
them on
anybody who
Facebook.
especially wants to see them, or who has not seen them, or in any way?
for everybody to see.
All right.
So, good evening. My name is Cambria Ford Milani, and I'm here to implore the Ukiah Unified School Board members to be diligent, retain your attention and awareness, and not cease the eradication efforts of the cockroach infestation at the Ukiah High campus. I'm a Ukiah High parent to 2 students this year, a sophomore and senior, as well as being a Ukiah High graduate. You already know why we're here tonight, and have known for quite a while how badly our Ukiah High campus has been infested with roaches. You are also recently aware we have taken photographs and video for the past couple of weeks and created a social media group for the parents of Ukiah High students and community to see and to join. We have shared those photos and videos with the public to hopefully shed some light as to what has taken over the campus. The social media group was created 2 weeks ago today, and within the less than 12 hours of creating the group, there were over 1,000 members. The group has exploded with daily comments and suggestions, along with other people venturing out in the wee hours of the night to further capture photos and videos of what they too are seeing. As of noon today, we continue to grow strong with over 2,000 members, and we as parents contacted the local and out-of-county newspapers and television news. We resorted to such efforts out of concern and community outcry, and in hopes we wouldn't have to continue to subject our children to such deplorable conditions our school is in. We wanted as much exposure and attention as we could get so this unacceptable problem could be rectified. The parents of the high school students are outraged the Ukiah Unified School District has allowed this to become an epidemic, and it is now affecting the private homes of the surrounding community, with many of those homeowners incurring the expense to treat their homes by exterminators. The district should not have expressed their disapproval of our exposure of their dirty little secret on social media. Rather, they should have apologized for ever allowing this issue to get out of control. Actions are louder than words, and we feel we've received nothing but lip service. And I'm requesting to finish my statement. This is what we are here for. This is why the people have come. You're videoing this on live, so I would appreciate if you would indulge me and let me finish my statement. The district has known about the problem for the past 3 years that I have known of, and have failed in their efforts to consistently treat and eradicate the problem. But mostly you failed to communicate the severity of the problem with the parents and have kept the issue very hush-hush. Now parents are more aware of the infestation since seeing the live videos and pictures, and they're outraged. Pictures and videos don't lie. We all want this taken care of. We're tired of the school district just putting a Band-Aid on it for temporary fix and allowing the infestation to continue year after year. You guys should be embarrassed our children are subjected to this. 2 of my children attended school last year and spoke of them, but I didn't really understand what they were seeing until I went up and saw it for myself, and I was shocked. It was something out of a horror movie. They're not only on the outside school grounds from the parking lot to the football field to the swimming area to the gym. The entire campus is rampant with these roaches, and that includes the insides of the buildings as well. The teachers and staff spend mornings sweeping and vacuuming the carcasses from the building, and this is a major health concern for not only our children, but your staff. The school, knowing the eradication or the infestation is and was completely out of control, allowed summer school to be held at the high school as well as swim meets, where people camped on the campus and sold food. Those poor people who were enjoying their kids swimming, and Tyler, you should know you're a part of this, had to endure, not unknowingly, that our campus was infested. Thankfully, for my sister went up there and informed the people that were camping, to inform them to shake out their stuff so that they didn't take home hitchhikers in their homes. At this point, excuse me, it isn't only a school district issue where continuous treatment at 3 separate school sites has now begun, but has become a community issue. The city of Ukiah has become involved because the roaches are in the city sewer system, water boxes, and valve boxes in the city sidewalks. The cockroaches have spread to the cemetery and some of the county buildings, which I work in, on Low Gap Road. This epidemic is far too big for the local pest company, Extermagon. The school district, City of Ukiah, County Board of Supervisors need to pull their resources together and call in the big guns. You all need to find a company who has handled this type of mass infestation. Put it out to bid, see who responds, price shouldn't even be a question. You need to find a company who's going to spray at night when the roaches are at their most active time of day. These current efforts which are being implemented should continue year-round, not stop during the winter season when roaches go dormant. The cracks in the ground should be filled, sprayed, shaved down, and sealed. This course of action has to be met at full speed and not piddled out when all hype has settled down and the school is in full swing and parents have relaxed and let up. I can tell you right now, we're not going away. We're going to make sure the board stays on top of this and hope the board continues with the updates to the parents and community. We want the truth, no sugarcoating, no smoke being blown. Don't lead us to believe one thing when the facts are completely different. I'm sure if these lovely pests were here infested in your brand new building, there would be no expense spared to make sure that this place was eradicated of them. And if it bothers you having them shaken in that glass where they can't get out, imagine how the kids feel when they're threatened by teachers with referrals and sent to the office for killing a cockroach. Imagine how the kids feel when they're running loose and flying around them or dying around them. Please do send my child to the office for a referral, because that's going to be a whole new can of roaches. It's really sad for me to know this has become the norm for our kids. And yet, funny, the kids have created a petition, you say, a petition to change the mascot from Willie the Wildcat to the Wild Roaches. This isn't a laughing matter, but UUSD has become the laughingstock and absolutely should be hanging their heads in shame. We want you to show, and I would appreciate it if you would indulge me again, a sign of hands of how many of you have actually walked the entire campus after the lights have gone out at 11:30 in the evening and see that it comes alive. One of you. I applaud you. I applaud you. I want you all to show us how much you really care about our children and meet us up there. We invite you to meet us up there at 11:30 at night when the lights go out. We'll walk with you. We'll show you where we've collected these. We'll show you what we have found. This isn't something we're taking lightheartedly. Again, Anne, you've been up there. For the rest of you, you will be disgusted and appalled at what we are seeing in the evening. As per the Healthy School Act, we're asking for the last 4 years of your record keeping of all the pesticide applications at each school site, but specifically Ukiah High School. We're requesting the records to include the product name, manufacturer's name, and US EPA registration number, date and areas of the applications, reason for the applications, and the amount that was used. As for the birds, we understand the nest will be removed on September 1st and netting the birds' nesting area, but I hope the school plans on netting every single place that the birds can rebuild their nest when they return in this next season. With the pictures and video which were taken last Friday, August 5th, and were posted on the social media site, the pictures depicted the campus quite clean, which we were shocked. I find for myself it unnecessary to have the parents and the community to come up and clean the campus when the district has the funds to manage the task themselves. For the parents and community, for parents and community that already pay their taxes, we shouldn't be encouraged to endure such tasks. I understand some parents and community members find nothing wrong with it, and to each their own, but I also want to state this is not the fault of the kids. I want to thank the board for allowing us the time and for allowing me to indulge me in finishing my statement. Thank you.
I appreciate your thank you for allowing us to extend your time quite a bit beyond. And given that, I would hope that Diana Crosby and Angela forward, unless there's anything new that you have to add, if we could just consider this closed.
Nope, I'm not done.
All right, I will tell you that 3 minutes will be the limit from now on.
That's okay, that's okay. I don't have a child at Ukiah High, but I have a grandkid up there. But that's not my concern. My concern is the nonverbal child. The ones up there in special ed that don't talk, that can't tell you they've seen a cockroach run across their floor, that can't tell their parents why they're afraid when they see bugs in their house, in their home, or they see a spider. My concern is the autistic kid that picks up those bugs and tries to play with them or tries to eat them because they don't know. And that's where y'all need to really think about it, because that building's infested with cockroaches and they have a kitchen. Is that kitchen inspected? Yeah. Is all those dorms, all the ones inside the quads, inside the classrooms inspected?
Yes.
My concern is the special kids, because you know what? They have behavior problems, they have medical problems, they have psychological problems, they have emotional problems. And when they go home, they can't tell their parents why they're upset. You know? And fear, that's a big fear with seeing bugs, watching movies, seeing bugs crawl around and see them in your classroom and you can't do nothing about it. So that's my concern, is a nonverbal kid. The ones that don't speak, think about them. They can't tell you, but their parents can tell you their behaviors have changed, and they don't know why, because no one's telling the parents there's cockroaches up there. I've seen them. I've seen them through the doors. I've seen them in the classrooms. They're all over the place. So you guys really need to consider that. These other people aren't talking, and their parents aren't coming forward because they were never told.
All right, thank you very much. Angela, are you Angela?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to remind you that.
3 minutes, I got it.
Thank you.
I just want to point out two things. One is, I understand the high school passed a health inspection, but I also know the inspection only covered the kitchen and food service area. And this was at a meeting that my sister attended with the city, whatever. But I just want you to know that it was only that. So you're telling me that the kids, you know, are able to eat with the roaches, but you're not cooking with the roaches. Doesn't make any sense, folks. A roach is a roach, doesn't matter where it's at. The other thing is, I live on Bush Street. And the week before the 4th of July, my son came to the screen door and said, "Mom, is that a roach?" Hello? No, I don't know. It didn't look like a roach. It looked like a big beetle. It was a roach. Well, I'm now having my house sprayed. Not everybody can afford this. It was $120 just to start the spraying, and then it's $46, I believe it is, a month afterwards. Not every, people are struggling. This is not the rich community. There's no industry here. People are struggling to make ends meet. So really, because of your neglect and it coming out into my home area, I'm now having to put my hard-earned money to clean up your guys' mess. And it is your guys' mess because it came from your schools. I live right across the street from Frank Zeke's school. They can catch the wind if they got wings. The wind comes down like a funnel through there. So I'm paying to clean up your mess already. I'm asking you to do your damn jobs.
I'm going to remind you. I'm going to remind you again.
I'm sorry.
You know what?
But
I'm
you're
sorry. We do not deserve to be treated in that way.
Well, let me ask you.
No,
do you live
that's
in
all
the
I'm going to
area?
say.
Do you
If
live
you're
in the
not,
area?
no.
Okay.
I'm
do
asking you to
do
be
live with the roaches?
respectful.
Do you live with the roaches?
I have
Because,
all my
like-
life. I grew up with roaches. I know it's a difficult problem.
Well, I
do.
never have. I never have.
But in any way,
And
do you want to
I'm
finish your
upset.
statement because your time is going to be up?
This is my statement. I don't want to live with these roaches. I'm doing my part. I'm asking you to do yours.
And I'm just asking that you ask us in a respectful way. That's all.
Well, I just don't think because you've never gone out to go look, you really understand the problem. You haven't. You've seen pictures, but you couldn't even play them today.
All right, Lenova Steele, this is our last speaker. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Lenora Steele. I have a freshman that will be coming in and a first grader at Calpella School. My question is, the health and safety of those cockroaches, our kids being there, what has the county health department, was there a report done how safe are they? And I want to remind the board, I'm kind of representing our youth. We have Pinoleville, Pomo Nation youth, and I've been hearing some of their complaints. We have quite a few that are at the high school, and they talk about when the lights go out to watch a movie, cockroaches come out, and that's in their classroom. And so, and the food being prepared at Ukiah High, going to the other school, how safe is it? Has there been a report, from the health department? I would like to know how safe they are if, this infestation, at Ukiah High and it, in the cafeteria. So, I probably won't be sending my son, as a freshman to Ukiah High. I went to Ukiah High, and I don't remember it. It was nice when I went. And I just think it really needs to be addressed, the health and safety of our children being there. And I want to remind you guys, we have a lot of low-income kids that get free lunch, and some of the kids, that's where they eat. That's where they get their food. So how safe is it? They may not have food at home, so they depend on going to school, getting breakfast, getting the lunch. And how safe are they? I don't know. Is there a report by the Public Health Department? Can that be made available on the website, on UUSD's website, so more parents can, view it and take a look at it? Because I don't know what I'm going to do with my first grader. The food's being prepared at the high school and being brought over. I don't know how safe that is. I haven't seen a report, so that's my concern.
Thank you very much. Trustee Van Sant?
I want to thank people for coming tonight. We don't normally have a lot of guests in our audience, so although this is an unfortunate topic, it's really nice to see so many of you caring a lot. We don't always see that, so I really appreciate that, and I mean that sincerely. I think when I'm thinking about this, fellow board members, I feel like we have two problems. We have the battle of the cockroaches, which we have a plan. I think there's some questions from our guests on whether or not it's aggressive enough, but we are consulting with experts. We are I know you, Deb, have talked to the head of the California pesticide people and all of that, and so far my understanding is that we've been given reassurances that what we're doing is the best we can do right now. And I think we'll continue to do that and monitor it. But my concern is that, my secondary concern, which I think is an equal problem, is we're clearly losing the battle of the public's trust. And so so what I'm wondering is what more we can do to gain back that trust. Because I feel like the cockroach issue has experts involved, and there's a process there, but I'm not sure if there's more we can do to help the community feel more confident that we are doing our very best. I don't have, I think my challenge is I'm not sure what more we can do. And one commitment I will make to you is I haven't gone there in the middle of the night. I have seen the videos, and I have seen the pictures, and now I'm curious, because you're saying it's more meaningful in the middle of the night, so it's kind of late for me, but I'll do it. And I make that commitment to you that I will go see it. But I also, when I think that, we're entrusted to care for our community and care for our community of students, I have watched what's going on social media, and it's starting to make me sad that people are fighting with each other and are being unkind to each other. And people have different attitudes about how things should be handled, and they're starting to say unkind comments to each other. And that's why I feel like gaining the public's trust is really important, because that's not helpful for our community. It's not helpful for friendships that you all have with other people in the community. And I know our school staff is starting to feel defensive, and they're being put in the position of feeling uncomfortable about it. And I just want to challenge us to come up with something more we can do to rebuild that trust. I mean, we're doing the press releases, and I appreciate those. I know some people don't find that, but for me, that's been helpful. And I just don't know if anyone else has other ideas of how we can do that.
Trustee Nelson?
I I guess, Megan, my concern is that I've been sitting on the board for a couple of years now. My daughter's going to be attending the high school next year. We have known about this problem for a while. We've been treating it for quite some time. We have professionals that are coming in and they're saying, gosh, you guys are doing good. Here are a few more things that you can improve. And yet, we're still getting told we're lying and we're not doing enough. And so I think the press releases are a huge improvement about what we've been doing. And I'm not sure how to, as somebody that deals with pests during their livelihood, it's complicated and not really easy. It's especially challenging when we have something like our kids that are at the school and we have some extra difficult regulations. I find it especially challenging when we have a newspaper that writes inflammatory articles. And I'm kind of like, we're submitting the truth as best as we can. And so above and beyond that, yeah, I'd be welcome to some ideas, but it's like if we're telling the truth and we're telling the truth and we're telling the truth, I don't know how much better we're going to do than telling the truth. So that's my concern. And frankly, feel comfortable with sending my daughter to the high school next year. We spend a lot of time up there swimming, and I've seen the problem. But I also know that from what I've been told that we are doing the best we can do.
Are there any other trustees who want to comment?
I just would ask what are the next steps for us or for anybody?
Well, we're very excited that the team from the Department of Pest Regulation is coming up. They've been extremely helpful. It will be another set of eyes. They're bringing scientists with them who specialize in urban pest management, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what additional suggestions they might have for us. We have given the staff full resources, whatever they need to do to take care of the problem. We've been at it for 2 years. We have not let up, but it's obviously not enough because we still have a problem. I would encourage the community members to let us know. I appreciated hearing that they were at Frank Zeke. That was new to me. So I respectfully appreciate people letting me know that. It'd be helpful if you called me instead of you can do both, but getting a phone call would be awesome. And the community helping us be an extra set of eyes is great. But I'm really looking forward to hearing what the people from the state have to say, because we have been working at this for a long time. And Tyler, I don't know what else to tell people except we are not lying to you. We are communicating with the community about what we've been doing, what we are seeing, and I don't know what more to do beyond that except to be a very ethical and trustful person and communicate. So I'm not really sure.
Can we encourage you to let us know when the state and scientists come so we can be there as well? And talk to them too. To the test and what they have to say?
Go there with them at night?
Yes, at night. Or day, whenever they're gonna be there.
They need to.
Gail.
All right, excuse me. To answer the one question, yes, they will be coming there at night, but that is as much information as we have right now. But we will be very swift in reporting to you what they report to us. We don't know if they will be giving us, whenever they do come, if they'll be giving us a report immediately or if we'll have to wait a day or two for them to write it up. But I don't think it's been set in stone.
They're still working on authorization.
They're having a little trouble.
I want them to come out, though, and be able to do their work. I'm going to make sure that they have the appropriate conditions to do their work. They have said that they are trying to get authorization to come in the evening as well. We need them to come in the evening and the daytime. And I'm also going to ask that they look at Frank Zeke. Now that cockroaches at Nokomis are a different type, so I'm going to be curious to hear from them why they think that is, where are they coming from. These all up at the high school, and Frank Zeke seem of the Turkestan type. The ones at Nokomis are different, so I'm not quite sure where the source is on those. But they're experts, so I'm really excited to hear.
No. Alleviate that frustration with some kind of instant thing, but I just really agree with everybody that it may not seem like we're trying everything, but we really are. All right, with that, we're going to take a break and resume our meeting after the break. Thank you.
Because I'm not, you know, the things that I do really, really, I